All right, guys, we've got an incoming Battletech question here. Combined arms. Fritz, what makes a good bodyguard tank? And how can we effectively use the strengths of these vehicles to complement mechs? And this question is building off of a previous vlog I posted. It's up there in my Battletech archive under the Battletech playlist here on the channel, where I was sharing some of the different lance builds that I like to play. And how when I'm building a lance, I don't like to stick to one specific battle value. And what I mean by that is it's not like, hey, there's this idea and it can only work at 6K. I take an idea, scale it up, and scale it down. So this way, whatever level of game in terms of time or miniatures you want to play, we can play. And this idea of having archers or longbows with LRM carriers on the backfield and Karnovs, infantry, locusts kind of scouting about. So massive amounts of indirect fire for the win. Real time, hundreds and hundreds of missiles raining down on that hex map. And the idea that you're just not going to sit there and take it. You're going to send something to either break up my group, destroy it, disrupt it. So this idea of a bodyguard unit. A unit that is going to essentially sit there. So right away, battle value becomes critical. Battle value becomes very, very important. Because if it's going to be primarily sitting there, guarding my mechs, guarding these LRM carriers, it's not necessarily going to see use every single turn. This idea that with the battle value that we have for the game, I want to be using it every turn. I want it out there to be earning either mission objectives, positioning, or damaging and removing other mechs, other vehicles, whatever toys you might bring to the table. So when BV just sits there, right, if I have an Atlas parked in the back just kind of sitting there, okay, it's a deterrent maybe, but it's not utilized effectively in terms of the battle value. So this idea of a bodyguard unit, sometimes it's a T-Bolt, sometimes it's a Warhammer, but those are bigger games. On games where I scale down, it is a tank or vehicles. Always an infantry ring also, because for the battle value buy-in, it's not as much. What makes a good bodyguard tank, in my opinion, and often what I play is the Demolisher tanks. Not only because, yes, absolutely, I love autocannon 20s, but it is dependent on being able to cause massive amounts of damage at a relatively close range. Because, and it's on a turret too, so this way if it does get immobilized, although I'm not too concerned about that because the tanks don't really move that much, essentially it's drawing you into a field of fire. Now, this idea of a bodyguard tank, it is moving with a certain unit. Its job is to work with a unit, and that unit could be combined arms, it could be also a mech. The idea is it's working with that unit, it stays with that unit, so if other things come in, it can engage it and keep the unit moving. Another example would be if I'm moving forward and you send a pair of Jenners at me. Okay, I've got to drive these Jenners off, but do I want to break up my lance or my primary attack group to move off and engage Jenners, which you're just going to run away anyway? Not an efficient use of battle value, and it's diminishing my assault on the way in. The bodyguarding units will take care of that. So we see this static, but we also see this very, very dynamic. And that's not to say they can't have long-range capacity, but the reason why often the reason why I have them focus on a shorter range is because by their very nature being attached to a mission-critical unit or spot, the opponent is going to be drawn to you. For the most part, they're going to be coming to you. So I want to focus on that short-range punch. Now, at the same time, I can't go totally overboard because I could put together some pretty slick stuff, but I want to keep that battle value down. That's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, the duality, because of course the first thing that's maybe coming to your mind, it comes to my mind, and I've played it for the lulz, SRM carriers. SRM carriers moving forward, they will obliterate mechs. They will just destroy them from that perspective. The challenge with that is for the armor that they have and their mobility, it's high battle value. I mean, you're paying for all those. You're paying for all those SRM packs on there. It's not as robust. It's also such a threat. This idea of a bodyguard unit, it needs to have some bite, absolutely. But it can't be so threatening that your opponent says, well, look, I need to take that out. I need to focus and take that out directly. you can't have SRM carriers running around. So there is that kind of line, that back and forth between the two where you're looking. But looking at your own collection now, what is a lower battle value buy-in that has an area of control, a radius of control that's relatively short to medium, that can work either static or pushing ahead with your lance?